Fucking reward right now. Give somebody $1,000. They him my fucking dog.
I am a sheepdog.
I have a subconscious and moral burden
to protect and help the people around me.
I believe in safety, responsibility,
and the God-given right to defend myself and others
from the wolves who seek to steal, kill, and destroy.
I defend the Second Amendment
by properly representing what it means to be a gun owner.
I will put aside my doubts,
my fears, and my excuses.
I will be trained, I will be ready.
I will be confident, and I will be prepared.
While some sheepdogs are born, most are made.
Becoming a sheepdog is a choice.
A new way of thinking and a new identity.
An alter ego that you must step into.
We are patriots.
We are defenders of liberty.
We protect those we love.
We are sheepdogs.
What's up, guys? Ryan and Tiffany here.
Oh, I forgot to fix. Did you even notice anything different about me?
No.
Really?
Nope. Why am I so tall right now?
Why am I so short?
Okay.
Let's fix this.
Fuck. Okay. All right. There we go. Now it's a little bit better.
Hang on. Let me fix my boobs.
What's up, guys? What's up? Jorge, Eddie, Will. What's up? Jeff Tavor. Panic, get a Canic Bill. Like every quarter, you come up with a new name. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
That's funny.
Eco's reloading chamber.
Turn up the volume. Turn up the volume, Ryan.
How's that? Is that loud? Is that good? We're just not excited today.
Yeah.
We've had a very stressful freaking day.
Yeah.
And does that sound good? Can everybody hear us?
Yeah, your voice is a little bit crackly.
I'm sitting in my office, okay? All of a sudden I hear the entire family bawling and crying at the kitchen table. So I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? So I go out there and they're like watching this video that I'm going to play for you guys in a second about Coco, who is now missing. She has been missing for more than 24 hours. And it's pretty freaking sad. Like, I did not know how much I love this dog until the damn dog went missing.
Yep.
So here's what happened, because Tiffany will not be able to talk or tell the story like at all. So we're like, yesterday we're all working, doing Sunday stuff. I'm pressure washing and like I've been pressure washing all day, and I'm chilling on the couch, relaxing for like 10 minutes maybe. And I get a text message from the neighbor Adam, and he says, Ryan, Coco, our little pug, who's 7 months old, is running around the field out there. Oh no, that's not what happened. Neighbor knocked on the door and said, "Hey, your
Chris
pug
knocked on the door.
Your pug is running around." And I was like, "Oh crap!" I said, "Thanks, man."
Because
like,
he owns a pug and he lives just down the street, and he knows like we're the only other ones at the pug.
Right. So I yell to the boys, which is like a consistent in our house, is boys. Like they know they're in trouble, right? And I say that about 12 times a day. So I said, they're like, "What, Dad?" And I said, "Coco is outside running around."
So she's just one street over at the mailboxes, like one street over.
So I said, "Go find the dog." So they run out there, they're looking, and then now it's been 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and I'm like, where the hell are they? So I was like, okay. So I grabbed the neighbor kid, Javier. I said, Javier, get on the golf cart. Let's go see what the hell's happening. Yeah. So we get on the golf cart, we drive out there. There's like some teenager who I've never met before looking. Lincoln and Jax are looking, and they're like, we still can't find her. And I'm like, okay. So now it's like, this is a full-blown, everybody get involved. Called Tiff, get up. You know, she was in the bath. I said, get dressed. This dog is gone. I jumped in my truck, and now, like, the hunt is on, right? So we're searching. Like, there's a big field next to our subdivision, and I'm, like, driving around in there because that's where we assumed she was. I told Lincoln and Paisley, which Lincoln had, like, a big knife, and I said, hop this fence right here to the Diamond Hill subdivision. Hop this fence with your sister who has a phone, start walking down this road and see if you can like find her. So they like go and they look for just like 2 or 3 minutes. And I was like, I said, go over there. Me and Jackson and Javier, we're going to try to break into the subdivision because they have a gate.
A gate, yeah.
But they also have one of those gates where you can't just follow the next car in because the secondary gate like shuts after every car, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, we're going to figure it out. We're going to get in the subdivision. Just trust me. So we fly over there, right? And like we're hauling ass. I pull up to the gate and I see this guy who's got a house like right next to the gate and he's like doing lawn work. So I jump out. Now remember, I was relaxing on the couch. I have no shoes. I'm in sweatpants, like a dirty shirt. And I run up to this guy and I'm like, hey, sir. I said, I live in the subdivision behind you. My dog, a little puppy, is missing. I said, can you open your gate for me and let me in so that I can drive around and look for her? And he, thank God, what the positive of this story is I met so many caring, very amazing people because the guy was like, sure, no problem. So he runs, opens a gate for me. And I was like, thanks, bro. I charged in the subdivision in the truck. Every single person that was like walking, doing landscaping, whatever, I stopped and was like, hey, you guys seen a little puppy pug? And what's funny is people would be like, what does it look like? It looks like a pug, okay? It's a very distinct looking dog.
All pugs look the same.
Yeah, so it looks like a pug.
Yeah.
So we drive. Now I found Lincoln and Paisley, and they were walking. They're like, Dad, she's not over here. Mm-hmm. So this is like a huge subdivision, hundreds of houses, maybe 1,000, I don't know. It's a lot. So we drive around the whole thing. Like, there are some teenagers. Teenagers are standing there, and they're holding a dog. And I was like, hey, guys, have you found a little puppy pug? And they were like, no, we haven't, but we found this dog. And I was like, oh, well, that's not my dog. I'm looking for a smaller dog. So freaking drove around forever, dude.
Yeah.
And then we started like looking at all the bush. I mean, we'd already looked in the bushes. We like drove down the railroad tracks. I dropped Lincoln and Javier. If you guys remember, last time she went missing, she ran in like
the cow field.
The cow field, which is like the other direction of our house.
Just right across the street from our house.
So I said, Lincoln. Now there's a bull in there, right? And this bull is like little sketchy. So I said, Lincoln. I said, don't be a pansy. Hop this fence. Walk through this cow field. And if the bull starts chasing you, just run. But like,
but said, you and Jax walked through there last time. It was okay.
I walked through there again last night, but I'll get to that part.
Okay.
But I said just go through there, see if you can find her, and pick her up on the other side. So they walked. Me and Paisley go to the other side, and no, they don't have her. Frick, man. Tiff's like posting in all the groups. Neighbors in our subdivision are looking. We cannot find this dog anywhere.
Yes, she is chipped, and she has a collar on with our address and our phone number. So
the reality is some asshole. So number one, she doesn't just go up to strangers. Like she's a fast little.
She is a fast little dog, but I mean, she can.
Once she's cold and tired, I mean, maybe she gets humbled or something, but
you guys literally drove I
drove around for 6 hours yesterday.
She's not here.
In like a 3-mile radius.
And she's a pug. And if you know a pug, they can't like go forever. Like Kingston could go like 8 miles probably, but she can't. She's very little and she's a pug. So as much as I want to believe in the goodness of humanity, I know that it was one of those situations where the wrong person came by at the right time and somebody picked her up and somebody took that collar off and was like,
yeah,
I want to.
Maybe, or a hawk. I mean, we do have hawks around here. It could be a hawk.
Literally, though, she was at the mailboxes and in that little thing, like 1 street away from her house, and then the guy came and told us, and then it took us like not even 10 minutes to get there. So I don't think it was a hawk. I really don't. I think that it was a person.
You know, hawks can steal an animal faster than 10 minutes, right?
I know that, but I just don't think it was a hawk. I just don't. And she's pretty big now. I mean,
yeah, hawk can still eat her though.
I get it. Then you would have found something. You would have found.
No, they fly away, Tiff.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Have you ever watched National Geographic? Do you know how this process works?
Yes, I think someone took her though.
Maybe.
I really do. Because we've had this happen before. And
yeah, we had 2 puppies get out 3 years ago.
When we were breeding the schnauzers, and guess what? Like people bring back the adult, but the puppies gone.
Yeah,
like
gone.
nobody brings the puppies back. So, I mean, it just sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so we're gonna play you guys a little video. Tiffany is gonna cry, and then we'll come back.
If I would have known that you wouldn't be here anymore, I would have made the moments last a little longer. 'Cause now I'm alone, and you're just a memory in my mind. I would have given anything to say goodbye. If I would have known, if I would have known, I remember how we would laugh all the time, but now you're not around, and I'm just trying to find something else to fill the empty spaces you left behind. But nothing ever seems to work. I've been thinking about the things that you used to say, even not around. You're in my head every day, but it's fine, I don't mind. I promise I'll be okay. If I would've known that you wouldn't be here anymore, I would've made the moments last a little longer. If I would've.
Yeah, so, did I call the shelters? I went to the shelters today and looked around. And, like, it's the optimist in me or whatever. Yeah. But, dude, like, so last night, the kids went to sleep, and I was like, fuck this. I'm going to go find this damn dog.
Find this dog.
So I start, like, driving around in the golf cart. I walk through the cow pasture again. And then I walked through the woods and went down the railroad tracks. I was thinking maybe she got stuck. And then this morning, I dropped the boys off at the bus stop, and it's still dark, right? So I had my flashlight, and I was like, this is it, man. I'm going to find her. So I'm, like, driving, and I'm flashing, like, looking for eyeballs, right? And I look under this bush, and I see glowing eyeballs looking at me, and I'm like, Coco! And then it's a freaking rabbit. Damn rabbit. Should have ate the thing. I drove down the railroad tracks again early this morning. Then I was like, you know, the one place I didn't look is I drove around the Diamond Hill neighborhood, but they also have a big golf course there. So I was like, I wonder if anybody at the golf course has seen her. So I went to the golf course and talked to an employee, and he's like, nah, I didn't see her. And then I rolled up to the main thing. Now, again, like, I'm pretty casual when I'm rolling around unless I'm going to a class. So I'm in sweatpants, like dirty shirt again, and a sweatshirt. And I walk up, and the manager, I asked him, hey, man, have you seen a pug? And he said no. And I said, like, the last time somebody saw her, she was coming this direction. And he goes, without hesitation, this guy reaches into his pocket, pulls out some keys to a golf cart, and he goes, here, take my golf cart.
Aw.
You can go drive around the golf course and see if you find her.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing. And then I actually didn't want to because I don't know what I'm allowed to do or where I'm allowed to go or whatever. So thankfully, that first employee that I talked to, he came up on a golf cart and he's like, hey, jump on with me. I'll drive you. So we drove around for like 40 minutes or so. Didn't see anything. Then I drove to the animal shelters and checked with them today. Couldn't find at the animal shelters. They don't have anything. I looked through the whole database of every dog that's been found in Hillsborough County.
Oh, wow.
296 dogs or whatever, not in there.
No.
So, shit.
Yeah. Michelle, I'm so sorry for the loss of your son. I think that's who Michelle.
That song reminds me of my son in heaven.
Yeah.
Oh, it sucks, Michelle. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So sucks. Hopefully we're going to find her and we'll have a better update for you guys next Monday, but we'll.
Yeah, so like being the optimist thing. Last night as I'm going around, I'm like, I'm going to find this dog. I'm going to freaking come home and bring it to the kids. I'm going to be a damn hero.
Yeah.
Nothing. And you guys saw in the video how Jax was sleeping and the dog's like going ballistic. Every morning, that's how he wakes up.
Every morning we have to lift Coco on the bed. She runs up the stairs. When you saw her running up the stairs, she runs up the stairs, and then I pop her on the bed, and then because if you guys remember, we weren't going to get another dog. We just had Kingston. But after Jackson was stung by that scorpion and almost died in Arizona this summer, right, in June, that was his, like, number one dog, dream dog that he's been asking for years. So I broke down and got the dog for him because it was so scary to almost lose Jax. I was like, I just want to get him this dog.
Yeah.
So, it's just, sucks.
Yeah. So we are not doing a live stream tonight.
Well,
This is the live stream.
So we normally spend, a bunch of time, bunch of hours collecting news, videos, stuff like that for the live stream. But Ryan's been gone all day looking for the dog. I've been
Me and the boys again, we literally just got home at 6:30, but we're driving around in the freezing. Oh, I didn't even tell you, Tef. All right, so they're building this new subdivision, right? And the boys are like, Dad, there's this big hole that I'm telling you is taller than our roof. It's just
that you thought maybe
straight hole down, right? And they're like, Dad, there's that big hole over there. Maybe she fell in there. And I was like, okay, show me this hole. So we went, and it's like culverts or something. They're gonna fill it in eventually, but it's just not there. So we lifted up the wood, we looked, and it's not there. So then as we're standing there, we hear a dog, just like Coco, barking. And they're like, Dad, do you hear that? And I'm like, I freaking hear it. So we all run back to the golf cart, right? Like we want to believe so much.
Yeah.
We jump on the golf cart. We drove for 5 minutes, and then we stopped. And I'm like, dude, be quiet. Everybody be quiet. And we're sitting there listening, and we can hear the dog in the distance. And we're like, oh my God, dude, this is it. We freaking found her. So then we drive another 5 minutes, and we stop. And we can hear the dog. And I'm like, oh my God, it's this house right here. That house has a small dog. Too.
dog.
Yeah. And they were outside, and I yelled to them because they were smoking, and they were like, no, we haven't seen a dog, man. So
yeah. So sucks.
Sucks.
That's it.
But I will for sure pay $1,000 to anybody that will hand me my dog. Her name is Coco. I know exactly what she looks like. I know the way that she asks.
She's a
Zero hesitation.
7.5-month-old pug. Can't miss her.
$1,000 cash. Anybody gets me my damn dog.
Yeah.
And if you find the mother effer that took the dog,
Stop.
$10,000.
So, are you going to tell the story about the fence?
The fence. What about the fence? Fence?
Truck?
Oh, fuck, dude. All right.
And then
there's so much more I'm not even telling
about
you guys.
The firecrackers?
Yeah. All right. So in the middle of yesterday as we're searching, right? We're all stressed. We're all looking. There's this subdivision just to the left of us that has a big gate. So I've got Lincoln, Paisley, and Javier, our neighbor, are looking in our subdivision again. And then me and Jax, I said, we're going to go into this subdivision. We're going to wait for another car to go in, and we're going to follow them in and just look around and see if they're there. So we're waiting. A car finally pulls in, and I'm like, all right, sweet, this is it. So me and Jax pull into the neighborhood. We're just coming in. All of a sudden, Paisley FaceTimes me. Now, again, remember Paisley? This is a picture of her, if you guys don't know, if you're new to us.
And like, just think of the Blair Witch Project. Get that in your head. If
How
you
they're
remember
like
that.
recording underneath as they're screaming and yelling and stuff. So Paisley FaceTimes me and she goes, this is it. I answer the phone. I'm like, hello. And she goes, Dad, you got to come quick. There's a homeless guy chasing us. He's trying to grab us. Come quick. I'm telling you, when I tell you that I was panicked and freaking scared, because now it's like the dog is missing, which I'm upset about, but I'm not going to let somebody touch or hurt my kid. In my mind, for some reason, I know it's not rational, but I felt like the fastest way for me to get out of this subdivision was to just back up, right? So I put the car into my truck into reverse, back up, freaking smash into the gate. Smash it, right? Freaking neighbor is pulling out, or this woman is pulling out of her driveway. She witnesses the entire freaking thing, right? But me, I don't give a shit. I'm out, right? Because my daughter said that homeless guy's chasing her, which is, a block away. So now again, Lincoln's got a knife. He's got a SOG seal pup knife, which is an expensive military knife. Freaking huge, right?
That, just FYI, he uses to build his fort.
Yeah. But I freaking floor it, do a quick U-turn, and I take off out the gate. So now I have hit and run, fleeing the scene, and I do not care. I'm out. So I freaking fly down the road, dude, fast. And I see the three kids running out of the subdivision to the main road, Lincoln, Paisley, and Javier. So I see somebody inside the subdivision or inside the park, right? So I pull up and I'm like, I don't see a homeless guy. What's happening? And they're like, Dad, there was a homeless guy in the playground area. And I said, are you talking about the guy doing sit-ups? When I drove by, there was a man doing sit-ups in the playground. Is that what you're talking about?
Working out.
And they're like, no, Dad, he was homeless. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure he was exercising. So wildly overreacted.
So you didn't say, though, that she was on FaceTime like this running.
Yeah, running.
So all
saying,
he
Dad,
sees...
come quick. Dad, come quick. There's a homeless guy chasing us. And I'm like, what the hell? So I said, Paisley, how close was the homeless guy to you that he's chasing you? And she's like, I don't know, like 50 feet.
Well, no, she's like, he got up. I think he was doing sit-ups.
So I said, like, you guys have, like, if you're going to call me and tell me a homeless guy's chasing you, a homeless guy better be chasing you, right? So now...
In her defense, though, there has been homeless people sleeping by the play area. Like, there's a little strip of woods, like this big, seriously, like probably 10 feet between field and our neighborhood. 10 feet of bush, and they sleep in there. So there's been several times where the kids have seen them walking out of there in the morning. So they've been a little, weary. And
then what did Paisley
And we
say
tell
to you?
them, you need to be very careful.
Paisley said, like, Dad, you've just really scared us with all this stuff.
She goes, well, it's your fault. You're my dad, and you teach us situational awareness.
Okay, so I get all the kids in my truck, and I'm like, now we have to go back
to the gate
and deal with the gate issue, right? Which police are coming, like, fuck, this is going to be bad, right? So I go back, and we walk into the subdivision now because the gate's locked, and I just park on the road. So I'm like, forget it, walk in. I see the man there, and I'm like, hey, and he's like on his phone already, right? And I'm like, shit, he's on the phone with cops. And he's like, yeah, the guy just hit the gate and then left. And I was like, sir, that was me. And I said, kids, walk through the subdivision while I talk to this man. You look for the dog and let me talk to him.
Yeah.
So I walked up to him and I said, like, hey, listen, sir, this is exactly what happened. This is what happened with my daughter. And I said, whatever happened with the gate, I'll fix it. Like, this is not an issue. I will pay whatever money I have to pay to fix your gate. And he said, well, let's go look at the gate and see, like, if anything's wrong with it. And I said, okay, great. So we went and looked. Now, praise God, this is like one of the extremely thick, like the steel on this gate, just one side of the metal is like crazy thick. My truck is jacked. So my truck is destroyed.
I cannot get over, like, Ryan's been in a few accidents and there's nothing on his truck. His whole bumper
is jacked
on his truck. Like, those are strong, is like cracked in and mushed up.
I freaking hit that gate hard, man.
I cannot believe. So it turns out there was no damage to the gate.
Here, can you guys see that?
Yeah, there was no damage to the gate, but
my bumper is jacked. So, we tested the gate, me and this guy, and then another neighbor came, and the other guy was like, let me get your information anyway. And I was like, oh my God, dude, it's going to cost me like 10 grand or something.
Exactly.
Who knows? Thankfully, another neighbor came, and then the guy was very nice. He said, listen, don't worry about the gate right now. Go take your truck. I'm going to open the gate for you. Drive your truck in here. You can get your kids, drive around, find your dog.
Go find your dog.
We'll deal with the gate later. So again, very nice person who doesn't owe me anything, but he was willing to help, and it was amazing, right? Drove around, couldn't find the dog, and then another neighbor was outside, and I said, like, hey, do you guys want my phone number in case I need to pay for something? And he said, listen, bro, there's nothing wrong with this gate. The gate's totally fine. Just go find your dog.
Thank God.
Don't worry about it.
Because this is becoming an expensive day.
Frick, dude. So crazy.
And all this time, I'm just in my tub shaving my legs because I'm thinking, like, okay, they're going to get Coco. Like, she's just over there. The neighbor just saw her. She's just in the field. So I'm like, not knowing any of this is happening.
Yeah.
Like, I had zero clue that any of this was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was stressful, man. It was stressful. I'm still very pissed off, very upset. I really thought I was going to find this damn dog. But like Michelle said, my friend lost her Westie from her yard after offering a reward. The dog was found freaking mysteriously, right? What a bunch of scumbags.
Yeah.
We were just talking today, a guy, one of our arranged students, he was walking through a store, I think Target, and he dropped his wallet full of cash.
Yeah.
And then he drove home, and then he said, I realized it was gone, and then I came back. So he said it was 45 minutes from when I dropped it to when I came back. So he went to the front register, and he was like, hey, did anybody turn in like a wallet? So they verified that it was him, and then they gave him the wallet. He said, all my IDs, all my credit cards.
So awesome.
All of my money.
Yeah.
And he said, like, there was a lot of money. So he said, I realized there's still, like, good people out there.
There is, yeah.
For
100%.
me?
There's actually more good people than there is bad people. There really
Probably.
is. There really is, yeah.
I get scared because for me, I feel like if I ever took money like that God is going to punish me, like, severely.
Yeah, some people believe in karma, but we believe in God.
God is going to punish me. So for me, I just, I just don't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, we'll offer that reward and we'll post it everywhere
and see what happens.
Yeah.
So what was the other thing that we were talking about? Yeah.
Our other amazing fun thing that happened this week.
When was that? Friday night?
That was Saturday.
Saturday.
So I'm at the gun range Saturday.
We don't make this stuff up, guys. We don't make this up.
But I got threatened by another person with a gun.
Yeah.
What happened last week? Now somebody else this week wants to threaten me with a gun. So wait until you listen and hear what happened.
Craziness.
So I'm at the gun range, and I just glance at my phone to see what time it is, to see, like, is the range closing? Like, do I need to wrap this stuff up?
Three range classes.
Three different big groups of shooting students, right?
From 3 till 6.
Right.
You were there for a long time.
Okay, so I look at my phone, and it's a text message from Jackson, my youngest son. He's 8 years old, right? And, okay, so hold on. Ryan finds an envelope with $100,000. He keeps it. Unbeknownst to him, the envelope belonged to a mafia don, and someone saw him take it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We'll tell you that story.
No. But do you guys want to hear a little sub story?
Well,
okay, whatever. I can't
You can't tell two stories at the same time.
So I'm at the gun range, and I see a text from Jax, and it says, don't worry, Dad. We're all okay. The police are coming. Mr. Jose, who's our neighbor,
Javier's dad,
is chasing the kids down the street. And I'm like, I don't have time to deal with this because I have students. Yeah. So I just am trusting that Tiffany and the neighbor are dealing with whatever the hell is happening. So I finish with the range, and then I drive home, and the boys are like all in the driveway, and they're like, Dad, this is what happened. And I'm like, okay. Mr. Jose is out there, and I'm like, what happened, bro? So the kids are like playing at the playground. And
which is, again, one street over from us. So our subdivision only has 3 streets, and we're in the middle. So
right.
They're one street over.
So they're playing in like a bike gang of 9 to 11. We don't really know, but 9 to 11 hooligans comes, and they have like fireworks.
13 and 14-year-olds.
Yeah, they have like fireworks, and they start chucking that, lighting them, and then throwing them at my kids and like letting them explode, right? So obviously the kids are scared. They run.
Saying some cuss words in there, and they were like, kind of yelling some obscenities at them too.
So to be very honest, I wasn't very concerned about it because it's just like, okay, these just punk ass kids. Like nobody got hurt. It's just, for me, I would have just said, boys, if you see these kids, just stay away from them because it's just not a big deal. But my neighbor, Jose, was freaking livid. And he's like, Ryan, we got 2 options, Ryan. He goes, we either call the police or me and you go handle it. And I was like, well, you just had back surgery, bro. Like, you're walking with a limp, you got a cane. I think by we go handle it, you mean you're going to sit in the car and I have to go.
And you have a back injury.
And I have to go fight somebody. Is that what you're saying?
You're going to have a little bit of a limp. So
yeah.
Two ding dongs.
Yeah. So I was like, listen, Jose, if you want to call the police, man, you know what's funny? Y'all need to move out of the hood. We don't live in the hood. We actually live in one of the most expensive neighborhoods in Valrico.
Yeah.
We have our price range of our house is one of the most expensive homes in Valrico. So
this
shit just keeps happening.
I don't know.
It's because there's bad people pretty much everywhere.
Well, it's because the bad people, I mean, they come from other neighborhoods, right? And then they go to the kind of nicer neighborhood to kind of hang out. Yeah.
Yeah, to be idiots.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was like, listen, Jose, man, if you want to call the police, call the police. But, you know, I said, whatever, I'll support you, but just call the police. So then Paisley's like, Dad, some of my friends from school are talking about this. And I was like, what do you mean? She said on TikTok, they're talking about how they were doing this. And I was like, get me some pictures. Like, if you know who did this, then get me some pictures. So she sends me some pictures, and it was the back of the head of this kid. And I said, oh, I know who that kid is. I like see him riding around on a bike all the time. I know exactly where he lives and all that stuff. I said, everybody hop into my car. We're going to drive there, and we'll knock on the door, and we'll just see. Lincoln and Javier can tell me, is this the kid that was doing it or not?
Which then, he gets home from the range, and I have dinner ready, instead of him coming home, he's like, I'm going with Jose, who's, again, our neighbor, and he's a little bit of he's Latino. He could be a little bit of like a hothead. Like he's mad, right? Like he's pissed. And I'm like, just chill.
I was not upset.
Just chill.
Yeah.
Because as Ryan always says, you never know who you're dealing with, right? So I'm like, just chill.
So as we're driving there, and the house that we're going to, this is a hood house. This is very ghetto, very low income. This is a hood house. So as we're driving there, Lincoln says, Dad, what do you want us to do when we're there? And I said, what I want everybody to do is to be extremely calm. I want everybody to let Dad do the talking. I said, I don't want anyone else to speak. Only I am speaking today. Now, I was saying it to the kids, but really I was saying it like, Jose, shut up, bro. Just be quiet.
Yeah.
Just listen. And like, we don't want to get into a gunfight here in front of somebody's house because we're getting emotional and somebody pulls out a gun and shoots one of us or shoots a kid or whatever.
Yeah.
I said, let's just ID who they are. And then when the police come, we'll be able to say, hey, here's an address. You can go talk to them, right? Yeah. So we get there, we walk up to the door, I knock on it. Sweet lady opens the door and I said, hey, ma'am, do you have a grandson or a son here? And she's like, yeah. And I said, would it be okay for us? We're one of your neighbors. We live in the neighborhood, a couple blocks up. I said, we think he was throwing fireworks at my children today. Would it be okay if we spoke to him? And she said, yes, sir. So she walked in the house. She got him. He came out. I introduced myself to him and to her. And so Eddie, of course I had my gun, Eddie. I was totally ready and, hoping to God nothing was going to happen, but I'm ready, of course.
You always have to have it, yeah.
So,
they were very nice.
The
mom was
the mom, she was like, I'm a little bit hesitant about disciplining or yelling at this. I wasn't yelling, but just like criticizing this kid on what he's doing. So I kind of paused a little bit and the mom, so it's a black lady, right? Black kid too. You know how black mothers are. So she's back there.
Boy!
No, she's leaning up against the wall and she goes, Mister, you tell him.
You better tell him.
She said, you tell him what you need to tell him, but I promise as soon as you leave, he will never go in your subdivision again. And I was like, okay, ma'am. So I told him, I was like, listen, buddy, this stuff is dangerous, right? Fireworks, if they get too close, they can blow up. I told him, when I was
when
I was in the military, one of our dudes had a firework explode and he lost 3 fingers.
Somebody I know, actually, the firework went in here. Do you remember the lady that helped deliver Paisley? Her whole chest and upper... like up here is all terribly scarred.
So we were just talking and it was all very calm, right? And then Jose started getting a little bit aggressive, whatever. Her name's Miss Conrad is her name.
Yeah.
So Miss Conrad.
She was very nice.
Yeah, and I said, listen, buddy, we know there was 9 other kids. Who are the other kids? And he's like, I'm not going to tell you. And I was like, you are going to tell me. Who are the other kids? And then finally, after like some pressure, and his mom is like, who was it? You tell me who it is. And then he said, it's Connor. And then she goes, Mr. Ryan, you just go straight down here and turn left. And she goes, there's a pink house on the right. You can't miss it. And I was like, okay. She said, that's Conrad's house. They're right down there. And I was like, all right. So we get in the car, and now we already got one address. Police are coming. And then we drive over to Conrad's house. So it's super pitch black dark, right? No street lights, no house lights, pitch black. So this time I tried the brights on because I couldn't see anything. Had the brights on, pointed at the front door so I could actually see what's happening. So as we're walking up, I said, kids, stay in the car because this is like a super sketched out house. Stay in the car. Me and Mr. Jose are going to come up. Reeks of marijuana
you could smell
everywhere.
weed, yeah.
There's marijuana everywhere. So I knock on the door. I stepped like way far. I told Jose, I said, bro, you got to step back in case they shoot through this door or something. I said, I'm not getting shot if they shoot through this door. They think we're police or something. So we step back. Short white dude comes out and he goes, can I help you? And I just said, hey, listen, man, this is what happened. The young man up the road, Miss Conrad's son, I don't remember his name, whatever. But, he said, your son, Connor, does Connor live here? And he goes, yeah. And I said, Connor was throwing fireworks at my children. And this is what the dad said. He goes, is that it? And I said, is that it? I said, is that, like, these are little children. Is that acceptable to you as a dad?
Yeah, they're like 8 and 10.
Is that acceptable to you as a dad for your son to be throwing
Snitches
fireworks?
get stitches. Oh, my gosh.
I'm sure that kid's going to get the shit kicked out of him soon. So, O-Town Racer, I should have been wearing a vest because this is where the story gets sketchy. So the mom comes out, and the mom is like standing behind the dad, but she never spoke. Never once did she speak. The dad is just speaking. And I said, hey, we're just trying to ID, who was involved. I said, the police are coming. The young man down the street, Miss Conrad, they ID'd and said, your son was involved. So we just want to make sure this is his house so that when the police come, they know where to come. And the guy goes, you called the police? And I said, of course. Why wouldn't we call the police when your son is attacking my children? Why wouldn't I call the police? And he just goes, I just don't understand why you would call the police. And I said, let me ask you a question, sir. Now I'm going into my sales persuasion stuff. I said, let me ask you a question. Are you more concerned that we called the police, or are you more concerned that your son is attacking other people by throwing fireworks at them? And then he didn't say anything. And then the guy was like, well, since you are in my castle, I have a right. And I was like, oh, hold on a second, sir. Said, you clearly don't understand what the castle doctrine is, as you're eloquently attempting to quote a law that you don't understand. Said, the castle doctrine starts at your threshold, and the door would actually have to be closed for me to, and I'd have to be entering or attempting to enter unlawfully and by force. I said, surprisingly, I've actually written several books on this topic. You might want to buy one.
Smart ass.
Yeah. And then the guy's like, I feel threatened. I feel threatened. And I was like, what is that? I said, sir, what are you talking about? I said, I just want to make sure you discipline your kid so that I said, we're all neighbors. We all have to live next to each other for the next 5, 10, 20 years. So let's all just be friends, right? I said, I can promise you right now, sir, if my son Lincoln threw fireworks at your son, Lincoln would not be able to walk. I would whoop his ass, and he would definitely know that was something he is never allowed to do. I promise you that. And I promise you that if Lincoln did something like that and you call the cops, it'd be like, that's no problem. I said, the cops cannot do what I will do to him. Yeah. I will punish him, and he will never do this again, right? So then, let's try to remember what happened. The guy was like, he goes, listen, stand your ground. And I was just like, oh my God. He's like, you better leave. You have to leave right now because I'm feeling... He said something else, and I said, are you threatening me with a gun? I said, is that what you're doing right now? And he goes, no, I'm not threatening you, but I'm telling you, I feel threatened. And I was like, Jose, we got to go, bro. Because this guy is now like getting super emotional. He's getting crazy and weird. Lincoln said he could see the guy getting irate in the car. And he said, Dad, I was going through the center console looking for a knife. I couldn't find anything. I found a pen.
Then they started praying, though.
They were praying like, Dad, don't let Dad get shot. No. So then we get in the car.
It's so
and
scary
again,
to think.
Super freaking dark, right? So I'm trying to back up. And this guy, what a petty, just little loser. runs outside and he like runs up and he takes a picture of my license plate. Like, shut the hell up, dude. You just don't comprehend any of this.
But the first mom, like, totally handled it correct. Like,
The right
what
way.
did you do? Tell them what happened. Tell, who's involved. And she totally, and that's the problem with society today. You know what the number one complaint of teachers is nowadays compared to when all my teacher had to do, like my teacher said anything to my parents, and my mom and dad would not question the teacher at all, right? Like, you go to your kid, what did you do? And that was the number one compliment that we got from Lincoln's teacher last year was as soon as she wrote a thing like he was talking out of line or whatever it was, I was like, that will never happen again. He's being punished. I never ever questioned her. Because kids need to know that
there's authority and you better listen or your ass is getting whooped.
Yeah. And it's ridiculous that nowadays, like neighbors, like somebody's like, oh, can I, your kids were doing, I can't remember what it was. Oh, when we lived at the old house, our kids were climbing up on the roof of our car, right? They're going up the hood and the roof of the car. And my neighbor who lives across the street, who works looking out her window, and she sees that. So she texts me and she said, I saw your kid. I just want you to know, I saw your kids up on your car. So I told them they better get their butts down. And I said, of course, perfect. Thank you. Thank you for being there, noticing that, and saying something.
But when we moved into this new subdivision, we posted inside of the group.
Yeah.
If you see our children doing something stupid, feel free to yell at them.
And tell them to stop. Yeah.
Like, when I remember getting yelled at by one of my neighbors when I was like 10.
Yeah.
And I told my parents, like, hey, he yelled at me. And they were like, what'd you do? My parents said, what'd you do?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I did this and this. And they're like, okay, good. I'm glad he yelled at you.
Yeah.
Because that's just the way the world worked.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, now, though, what's happening is they're like, oh, you have something against my son because this, because that, and it's always turns into something else versus just. So, Mom, A, handled it correctly.
Yeah.
And was like, okay, what
And
did you
she,
do?
I have a ton of respect for. She
Yes.
was a very nice. She reminded me of like the inner city moms that we used to talk to. You might live in a rough house, but she's a very, very good person.
Very good parent, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was my final dig at Connor's dad as we were leaving, and he's yelling at me or whatever. And I said, you, sir, should try to be a better father.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's much of a dig, but hopefully.
It is a dig, though, because, he needs to realize that you're not helping your kid when your kid is young and doing stuff like that, and you're just making it okay and justifying it by yelling at the guy who comes to talk to you calmly.
Like, dude.
About it. And his wife was in the back, like, thinking, yeah, you're right? She just didn't say it, but she's like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, if any one of you knocked on the door and was like, hey, does Lincoln live here? He was throwing fireworks at somebody, I would cut you off and I'd be like, Lincoln! And he can get over here and he will stand in front of us and I'll be like, did you throw fireworks at somebody? And he'd be like, yes, Dad. And honestly, he'd probably get hit right then. He would just get whacked in the face.
It's just not okay.
Just so that he understood.
But we as parents have to step in, though, and have to do that, right? Because we are their only guidance. And if we're not stepping in to tell them, hey, this is not okay.
You know what I was really proud of with Lincoln? After Lincoln, because I gave him all that speech as we were going to the first house, right? And then we got back in the vehicle to go to the next house. And Lincoln was like, Dad, how'd we do? And I said, you did perfect, buddy. I said, you guys were quiet. Yeah. You didn't try to yell at the kid. You didn't argue with him. Like, everybody was calm and relaxed. And I think that was really amazing.
Yep, kids need boundaries.
Yeah, so
100%.
Connor's dad, I think the reason he was pissed off the cops are coming is because you could smell weed everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So, and then when the cops came, what was funny is we're talking to the young sheriff's deputy, a female, and we told her about the kids, and she goes, I know these kids. And I was like, oh, how is that? And she goes, we get calls about them every week.
Yeah.
There's like a gang of them. They're always running around, causing hell.
Throwing stuff at cars, doing all kinds of stuff. So.
Yeah. So they were in the middle of Highway 60 recently, like doing something stupid. So anyway, these are like the Valrico
the Valrico
criminals. Yeah, doing dumb, crazy stuff.
Yeah. So crazy.
That's been our weekend.
It's been a crazy weekend. I don't know.
Yeah.
How this stuff happens. I don't know how we come to you every Monday with like.
Tiffany, before the live, she's like, I don't understand why we always have these stories. And I said, it just happens.
It's like it follows us. It's been like this for years, too.
My whole life.
Yeah.
My whole life. I can tell you guys story after story after story of crazy stuff.
Never ends.
They're the bottle kids from Trailer Park Boys. You're absolutely right, Alan.
Yeah.
The bottle kids from Trailer Park Boys. That's the Valrico Hillbillies. That's what we're going to start calling them. Yeah, it's funny, dude.
Yeah, so I
crazy.
told Ryan, though, I was like, you have his address. Just drive by, get the street number, because I want to mail that guy a book, and I want to put a sticky note on it. Castle Doctrine.
Before your dumbass goes to prison, read chapter or whatever.
Yeah, and put the Castle Doctrine page on that. But the other mom, if she was really nice, then I think we should even send her a little card in the mail and just say, like, thank you for handling that like an adult. Yeah.
Well, and also, like, I would like for our kids to be friends with these other kids, if they can be positive and not be hillbillies or whatever. But if they're crazy, then no. But yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying to him when he was throwing fireworks. I said, like, buddy, let's not do this. I said, why don't you guys come and play? Why don't you guys, like, become friends or whatever? But
harassing little kids.
Yeah. Okay, so did Connor's parents take your dog? Maybe.
No, because they're like the different way, and I don't think she made it that far.
Maybe she could have made it that far.
Yeah, but I don't think that's what happened.
Could be.
So it's Ryan's duty to give Tiffany a few O-faces to burn some. Oh gosh, don't read that out loud.
You just read it out loud.
I know. I didn't know what he was saying.
Yeah. Listen, here's the rule, everybody. Do not read WhatsApp's text his messages.
Yeah.
Because they're probably inappropriate.
Todd and where's Tom? What's his name?
Asian Tom?
Yeah. Where is he?
I don't know. He's not on here.
He hasn't been on here for a long time.
Yeah. INS probably picked his ass up.
So anyway, we don't have a lot. Do we have anything?
No,
Okay, wait.
nothing.
Okay. So Ryan was not doing any stories. I'm like, Ryan, you need to put this story in the news. Like, I just read this. This is something I've never, we share stories of like accidental shootings, and we share stories of robberies and shootings and stuff. You guys, I guarantee you have not heard a story like this. This happened in Daytona Beach, okay? A woman, I guess her husband, who's like 74, is terminally ill in the hospital, okay? And he must have asked her to bring a gun for him. So she brought a gun to the hospital, and she gave it to him. But he was not able to, it said he was too weak to be able to basically take his own life and pull the trigger. So she shot her husband in the hospital bed and then barricaded herself in the room, they said, for a few hours. This is crazy.
That is crazy.
Like the thing that I just keep thinking of is like, isn't there a better way than like shooting in a hospital, like super like I don't think that I would be able to like snuff you out. I'm just saying, like, if you're like, that's an option. It's a lot quieter. You could just be like, I don't know, he just died.
Hold on. It is very hard to do.
Okay.
So suffocating something or whatever is not like the movies where it's very, very simple.
Okay, so then pills, right? How about pills? How about, giving extra pills and then just being like, okay, because they're not going to do an autopsy if he's terminally ill. He's going to die right away. I'm just saying, it seems like, because now she's in big trouble. Now, like, you can't just shoot someone in the hospital bed.
I agree. Yeah, you're probably going to go to jail for that.
He put her in a very bad situation.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that crap to me. You freaking
Me shoot you or?
No, if you're ever, God forbid, sick in a hospital bed, don't you ask me to shoot you. I'm not doing it.
No, I'm calling Joe. Joe Yeager. Come help me, buddy. Joe's gonna come up in his walker.
Because he's gonna be pretty old.
He's like, I got you, Ryan. He's gonna do some crazy freaking drill.
I'm just saying that. Like, that seems like a crazy story, right? Like, you're gonna shoot someone in a hospital bed. Like, this is not in your house, right?
Yeah.
So it just seems...
But, it's desperate times. Like, I've been in a lot of pain before, and when you're in a lot of pain, I get that it's, like, overwhelming.
I know, but...
Yeah, so...
I just think there must be something else that you could do. Like, I mean, even... Okay, so that's... I got one more story, okay?
Is that, like, a book that we could write, like, 31 ways to kill your terminally ill spouse?
Let's not. I don't know how many people would buy that book. But I feel bad for her. I actually hope, like, in this situation, I hope that, like, the state has, like, some grace and mercy on her and just lets her go. Because, I mean, I get it. Like, you have to kind of set a precedent. You don't want that to be, like a new thing where people are doing that. But on the other hand, I just feel terrible. Like,
I feel bad.
she's probably
It's like, what was that
75
movie?
years old.
What was that movie? John Q? Is that what it was called?
Where his son was in the
Yeah, it was
hospital.
John
but that's
Q. Do you guys
totally
remember
different.
that?
That was totally different, though. So here's the other story, okay? So crazy. This is another thing of you never know who you're dealing with. So this guy, right, in our area, like this is like in a 50-mile radius, goes to Taco Bell. They screw up his order.
No, the soda machine was broken.
Oh, the soda machine is broken.
So he starts
pissed
raising
off
hell.
because he bought a meal that comes with the soda cup and he wants to get soda. So he's pissed off. How pissed off? I don't know. It doesn't say. Maybe he's really pissed off. Maybe he's yelling. Maybe he's calling him stupid idiots. I don't know. It doesn't say. However, they say, sir, we're so sorry. We're sorry for the inconvenience. We are going to give you a free burrito for your trouble. So they give him this free burrito. So he's happy. He's like, thank you. He leaves, right? He eats the burrito about an hour and a half later when he's at home. A few bites into his burrito, he starts sweating, he starts hallucinating, and he thinks he's going to die. He calls 911. They come, they get him, they test him. There's rat poison in the burrito. The Taco Bell employee dumped a bunch of rat poison in the burrito.
That's freaking nuts.
The guy survives, but they said it was a large amount.
That your dumbass now is going to go to prison for attempted murder, all because your soda machine was broken at your business and it didn't get fixed properly.
But what makes people think that is a good idea? Like, do you think you're not going to get caught? Two, what do you think rat poison is going to do? It is rat poison.
Yeah. Stupid people.
Craziness. Like, thank goodness this guy didn't die, because that would have really been terrible. So, this is what I want to tell you guys, okay? We're going to leave this live stream like this, because look what happened to Ryan last week. Just telling the guy who he's pulling in. He didn't see the guy on the bike. He kind of almost hits him. Not almost, but, pulls in front of him. So he stops, slams on the brakes, says, go ahead. The guy's irate, pissed off, says, what are you going to do if I had a gun? Then, 1 week later, he knocks on a guy's door to tell him that his 13-year-old kid is throwing fireworks at an 8 and 10-year-old in our neighborhood, and the guy starts telling him, he's basically threatening him again with a gun. Then you got this douchebag putting rat poison in a freaking Taco Bell burrito because someone complains about a soda machine. You never know who you are dealing with. That is the number one thing that if we can get across to anybody is that. So slow down, watch your mouth. Don't get into a hot temper with people when stuff happens, even if you have the right to get angry. Try to just remember, you never know what the other person is willing to do, because we see it time and time again. It's scary.
Our channel just got blocked.
Did it?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if this whole live stream stays up on the internet. We just got a message. It seems like it's going to get blocked.
Oh.
So,
I don't
awesome.
know. I didn't say anything bad. I'm just saying you never know.
You're not saying anything bad. The freaking censorship gods can do whatever the hell they want.
Channels are read only, so they can't reply. What the? Anyway.
All right, guys. Have a great night.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see you next Monday. Maybe this live stream will be here. Maybe it won't.
Peace.